My beloved child, pause here, because what you are about to hear begins with a photograph, a trembling hand, and a sentence your special person was never prepared to hear. They carried your picture into a quiet room, believing they were only going to ask one simple question. Why can't I stop thinking about this person? That was all they wanted to know. They expected an ordinary answer. They expected to hear that they were confused, emotionally attached, or simply holding on to a memory. They thought the psychic might glance at your photograph, offer a few general words, and send them home feeling calmer. But that is not what happened. The moment your photograph was placed on the table, the atmosphere changed. The psychic did not touch it immediately. They stared at your face for several long seconds. Their expression slowly shifted from curiosity to disbelief. Then they looked away, took a deep breath, and asked your special person a question that made their heart begin to race. Where did you meet this person? Your special person leaned forward. They answered carefully, but the psychic was no longer listening in the usual way. Their eyes remained fixed on your photograph as though they had noticed something that could not be explained easily. Do not skip, because the first revelation was only the beginning. Something huge is waiting for you. Your special person suddenly felt nervous. They had brought your picture because they wanted clarity, but now they sensed they had opened a door to something much deeper. The room felt unusually still. Even the smallest sound seemed distant. Then the psychic finally lifted your photograph. Their fingers began to tremble. Your special person noticed it immediately. At first, they thought the psychic was cold. But then the trembling grew stronger. The photograph shook slightly between their hands, and their eyes widened as they studied your face. Your special person whispered, "What do you see?" The psychic did not answer. Not yet. They closed their eyes, held the photograph near their heart, and remained silent for so long that your special person almost reached across the table to take it back. Then the psychic opened their eyes and said, "This person is not who you think they are." Those words sent a wave of confusion through your special person. They wondered whether it was a warning. They wondered whether you had hidden something. They wondered if the truth they had come to discover would break the connection forever. But the psychic quickly shook their head. "No," they said softly. "You misunderstand me. This person is not ordinary." Your special person stopped breathing for a moment. Stay till the end, because what the psychic revealed next changed the way your special person sees you. The psychic placed your photograph back on the table, but they kept one hand resting beside it, almost as though they were afraid the energy surrounding it might disappear. They said, "This person has survived things they rarely speak about. They have carried disappointments with dignity. They have smiled while rebuilding themselves in silence. People have looked at them without realizing how many times they had to become strong when no one was watching." Your special person lowered their eyes. They knew parts of your story, but not all of it. They remembered the moments when you had gone quiet. They remembered the times you had acted as though everything was fine. They remembered seeing something deep in your eyes but never knowing how to ask about it. The psychic continued. "This person has been misunderstood because they do not reveal their entire heart easily. They may appear calm, but their emotions run deeper than most people realize. When they care completely. When they trust, they do not offer half of themselves. And when they are hurt, they often walk away quietly instead of making the world watch them suffer. Your special person's expression changed. They had entered that room hoping to understand their own feelings, but now they were being shown yours. They suddenly wondered how many times you had needed reassurance but remained silent. How many times you had waited for honesty while they hesitated. How many times you had questioned your place in their life because they were too afraid to say what they truly felt. Then the psychic said something unexpected. This person has already felt your confusion. Your special person looked up sharply. What do you mean? The psychic pointed toward your photograph. They may not know every detail, but they have sensed the distance. They have felt the unspoken words. They have noticed the changes in your energy. This person knows when someone is emotionally present and when someone is hiding behind uncertainty. Your special person became completely still. They thought of every unfinished conversation. Every message they typed but never sent. Every time they looked at your picture late at night and wondered what would happen if they finally told you the truth. Do not skip. The sentence that caused the psychic to shiver had not yet been spoken. Your special person asked the question they had been avoiding. Is this person meant to remain in my life? The psychic's face became serious. They picked up your photograph again, but this time their trembling returned instantly. Their eyes moved across your face as though they were reading a story written beneath the surface. Then they said, the real question is not whether this person is meant to remain. The real question is whether you are ready to become honest enough to stand beside them. Your special person felt those words deeply. The psychic explained that you were entering a season of emotional clarity. You were no longer meant to chase uncertain affection, decode mixed signals, or wait endlessly for someone to decide whether your heart mattered. You are changing, the psychic said while looking at your photograph. This person is becoming aware of their worth. Soon, they will stop questioning what they already know. They will no longer remain where love is hidden, delayed, or treated like a secret. Your special person's face lost its color. They had assumed there would always be more time. More time to speak. More time to explain. More time to overcome their fear. But the psychic's words made them realize that while they had been waiting for the perfect moment, you had been quietly learning how to move forward without answers. Something huge is waiting for you, so stay till the end. Your special person asked, are they leaving me behind? The psychic looked directly into their eyes. That depends on what you do after leaving this room. Those words landed heavily. The psychic did not tell them to chase you dramatically. They did not tell them to make impossible promises. Instead, they said something far more powerful. Tell the truth. Not the polished truth. Not the safe truth. Tell the truth you have been hiding from yourself. Your special person swallowed hard. The truth was that they had tried to forget you. They had tried to distract themselves. They had told others that the connection was not serious. They had pretended they were unaffected. They had acted as though your absence did not change the atmosphere around them. But it did. They compared conversations with others to the way you spoke. They searched for your presence in crowded places. They noticed songs that reminded them of you. They kept returning to old moments, replaying your expressions, your laughter, and the way you once looked at them as though you could see beyond every wall they had built. The psychic watched their reaction and said, "You already know who this person is to you. That is why you brought the photograph." Your special person had no answer. The room became silent again. Then came the moment connected directly to the title of this message. The psychic held your photograph with both hands. Their shoulders tensed. A visible shiver moved through them, and they whispered, "You are." They stopped. Your special person leaned closer. "You are what?" The psychic looked at your photograph once more and completed the sentence. "You are the person who awakened a part of them they thought was gone forever." Your special person froze. The psychic continued, their voice filled with emotion. "You are not simply someone they find attractive. You are not a temporary thought. You are the person who made them imagine a different future. You made them question the life they were settling for. You made them feel seen, and that frightened them because being seen means they can no longer hide from what their heart truly wants." Your special person's eyes filled with emotion. They finally understood why they had been restless. Why your silence felt louder than anyone else's words. Why your distance felt personal even when they pretended it did not matter. Why they could not simply replace the connection and move on. The psychic placed your photograph gently on the table. Then they revealed the most surprising truth of all. This person does not need to convince you of their value. You are the one being given an opportunity to recognize it before life moves them in another direction. Your special person immediately looked afraid. Not because the psychic had predicted something terrible, but because they suddenly saw the truth clearly. You were not waiting in weakness. You were waiting with hope. And hope does not remain in the same place forever when it receives no honesty. Do not skip now. The final revelation is the one your special person carried home with them. Before the session ended, the psychic told them to look carefully at your photograph and answer one question. If this person disappeared from your daily life tomorrow, what would you regret never saying? Your special person stared at your face. Their mind filled with all the words they had buried. "I miss you. I think about you more than I admit. I was scared because this connection felt real. I acted distant because I did not know how to handle what I felt. I never stopped caring. I wanted to reach out, but I was afraid you had already given up on me." The psychic saw the truth in their expression. "You do not need another sign," they said. "You need courage." Your special person left that room holding your photograph differently than before. They had carried it in as evidence of confusion. They carried it out as a reminder of everything they could lose by remaining silent. On the journey home, they kept hearing the psychic's unfinished sentence in their mind. "You are." But now they understood the ending. You are the person who changed something inside them. You are the person they could not forget, no matter how hard they tried. You are the person whose absence forced them to confront emotions they had avoided for too long. And most importantly, you are the person they may finally be preparing to approach with honesty. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it begins with a decision your special person is making right now. They are no longer wondering whether the connection affected them. They know it did. They are no longer asking whether your presence was meaningful. They know it was. The question consuming them now is whether they still have enough time to tell you before your heart chooses peace over uncertainty. Tonight, they may look at your photograph again. But this time, they will not be asking a psychic what you mean to them. They will be asking themselves why they waited so long to admit what they already knew. And somewhere between fear and courage, between silence and confession, your special person is preparing for a moment that could change the direction of this connection forever. My beloved child, listen carefully, because your special person could not sleep after leaving the psychic's room. The words they had heard refused to leave their mind. Every time they closed their eyes, they saw your photograph lying on that small wooden table, and they heard the psychic's trembling voice repeating the same mysterious sentence. You are. The words echoed over and over again. Your special person kept asking themselves, why did the psychic react that way? Why did they begin shivering the moment they looked at this photograph? What is so different about this person? Do not skip, because what happened next surprised even your special person. The following morning, they looked at your picture again. But something had changed. For the first time, they stopped looking only at your smile. They looked into your eyes. The psychic had said, the answer is hidden in their eyes. So your special person stared at your photograph for several minutes without saying a single word. Suddenly, memories they had forgotten began returning one after another. The first conversation. The unexpected laugh. The strange feeling of comfort. The moments they almost confessed everything. The times they wanted to send one more message but stopped themselves. Every memory became clearer than ever before. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Then something completely unexpected happened. Your special person remembered another sentence the psychic had spoken quietly before they left. They had almost forgotten it. The psychic had whispered, if you continue hiding your feelings, this person will stop waiting. Not because they stopped caring, but because they finally learned to protect their peace. Those words struck your special person harder than anything else. For the first time, they imagined a future where you were smiling, without them. They imagined someone else appreciating your kindness. Someone else noticing your loyalty. Someone else giving you the certainty they were too afraid to offer. That single thought filled their heart with emotions they had been avoiding for a very long time. Don't skip. The biggest revelation has not arrived yet. Later that evening, they opened old conversations. They read messages they had not looked at for months. Every sentence suddenly carried a meaning they had completely missed before. They realized you had never been asking for perfection. You had only wanted honesty. You had only wanted consistency. You had only wanted someone brave enough to stop hiding behind silence. The psychic had been right. They had mistaken your patience for endless waiting. Now they understood that patience eventually transforms into acceptance. And once acceptance arrives, everything changes. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Unable to ignore the feeling any longer, your special person returned to the psychic one final time. This time they asked only one question. What happens if I tell this person everything? The psychic smiled for the very first time. They looked at your photograph again. This time they did not tremble. Instead, they smiled peacefully. They said, "The fear was never surrounding this person. The fear was surrounding you. You were afraid because this connection is real. You were afraid because real feelings require real courage." Your special person lowered their head. Every excuse they had repeated for so long suddenly disappeared. The psychic continued. This person was never asking you to become perfect. They were waiting for you to become honest. Those words completely changed your special person's perspective. They finally realized that love grows through truth, not through perfect timing. Then came one final revelation. The psychic gently placed your photograph back on the table. They looked directly into your special person's eyes and quietly said, "The next chapter of this story depends entirely on what you choose after today. If you continue remaining silent, silence will become your answer. But if you finally speak from your heart, you may discover that the connection you feared losing has been waiting for sincerity all along." Your special person left carrying your photograph close to their heart. Not because they needed another prediction. Not because they wanted another mystery solved. But because they finally understood something they had never understood before. They were never searching for answers about you. They were searching for the courage hidden inside themselves. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because somewhere, at this very moment, your special person is no longer wondering whether they should speak. They are wondering whether they have already waited too long. And the next choice they make could become the moment that changes everything they believed about this extraordinary connection forever. My beloved child, something happened only a few days after your special person walked out of the psychic's office, and they never expected it. The psychic's words had become impossible to ignore. Every ordinary moment suddenly reminded them of you. Every familiar place carried an unexpected memory. Every quiet evening felt louder than ever before because one question refused to leave their heart. What if the psychic was right? Do not skip, because this is where everything begins to change. Your special person could no longer pretend that your photograph was just another picture. Every time they looked at it, they remembered the psychic's trembling hands. They remembered the unusual silence. Most of all, they remembered the mysterious sentence that had completely changed the atmosphere inside the room. You are. Those two words had become the beginning of a story they could no longer escape. One evening, unable to control their curiosity, your special person carefully opened a small notebook. Inside it, they began writing every memory they had of you. The first time they noticed you. The first conversation that stayed in their heart. The unexpected smile they never forgot. The moment they realized your absence felt heavier than anyone else's. As they continued writing, something extraordinary happened. They suddenly realized that every meaningful memory in recent times somehow included you. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. For a long time, they had convinced themselves that life would naturally move on. They believed time would quietly erase the emotions they had been trying to hide. But time had done the opposite. It had made everything clearer. Instead of forgetting you, they understood you more deeply. Instead of becoming emotionally distant, they found themselves thinking about you more often than before. Instead of closing the chapter, every new day seemed to reopen it. Then they remembered one final detail from the psychic's visit. There had been one sentence they had almost ignored. The psychic had quietly whispered while returning your photograph. This picture carries unfinished words. At that moment, your special person had not understood. Now they finally did. Those unfinished words were not yours. They were theirs. Words they had never spoken. Truths they had never admitted. Feelings they had buried beneath hesitation. Don't skip. The biggest moment has not arrived yet. Later that night, they placed your photograph beside them and asked themselves a question they had avoided for far too long. If I had one honest conversation with this person today, what would I finally say? The answer came immediately. I would stop pretending. I would stop hiding behind excuses. I would stop acting as though this connection never mattered. I would tell them they changed something inside me. For the first time, your special person stopped arguing with their own heart. The walls they had built over months slowly began to disappear. They understood something the psychic had seen before they did. Some people enter your life to teach you lessons. Others enter your life to change your direction forever. The psychic believed you belonged to the second group. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The following morning brought another surprise. Your special person looked at your photograph once again. But this time, they smiled. Not because every question had been answered. Not because every fear had disappeared. But because they finally understood why the psychic had shivered. It was never fear. It was recognition. Recognition of a connection that carried honesty, growth, and a rare emotional depth that could not easily be ignored. The psychic had sensed something your special person was only now beginning to understand. Real connections are not built on perfect timing. They are built when two hearts finally stop running from the truth. Those words echoed inside your special person's mind throughout the day. They stopped searching for signs. They stopped asking strangers for answers. Instead, they began preparing themselves for the one conversation they knew they could no longer avoid. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Before leaving the psychic's office, there had been one final sentence that your special person had completely forgotten until this very moment. The psychic had smiled gently and said, "One day this photograph will no longer be used to ask questions. It will become a reminder of the day someone finally found the courage to tell the truth." Those words now carried an entirely different meaning. Your special person looked at your picture one last time that evening. They quietly whispered, "I finally understand." Not because every mystery had disappeared, but because they realized the greatest mystery was never hidden inside your photograph. It was hidden inside their own heart. And for the first time, they were ready to stop hiding from it. The journey that began with a trembling psychic had now become a journey toward honesty. And somewhere between memory and courage, silence and truth, your special person is preparing for the moment they never thought they would be brave enough to face. Stay till the end. Don't skip. Because something huge is waiting for you. The next decision they make may become the moment that transforms this unforgettable story forever.